Missladypetal here. Unfortunately, when I was taping this, I actually lost the part of the video that was the alcohol markers in the first layer of that turtle. So what you can see at the moment is me pulling out my pencils, and I will do a blog and tell you which Spectrum Noir pencils I've used. But the first layer was actually a set of alcohol markers. So I just laid down that vibrant colour first, and now I'm actually colouring in with the marine set of the Spectrum Noir pencils. And I must admit, I really love the depth of colour that you get when you lay the first alcohol markers down, and then you start adding that real depth of colour over the top with colours that you wouldn't necessarily even think to use. Like, I'm using a beautiful purple here, but it blends so well with the underneath colours that it doesn't actually look really purple unless you put it onto the white background. As you can see, the white spaces here as I'm going through those small scales, but it is adding a beautiful shade and depth of colour. So what I'm doing here is a blending technique, and I'm just basically shadowing in the outsides of the scales. So now I'm adding in some greys, because none of the colours are really vibrant when they're under the water. And you can notice that in my hand I am using that pencil at the top, and I wasn't using as much pressure with it. So now I'm adding in some warmth, so browns, and I'm using that more around the face and the eye. Now I've got a deep turquoise, and I'm adding in just depth after depth of colour and defining the beautiful creases in the turtle's neck. It's just gorgeous. And now starting to blend out the lower layer of alcohol markers and add in some shadows. So you can see the shadows forming here. I'm using greys to add those shadows in, and you'll see as I go along that I'm creating that 3D appearance by having the edges of those fins darker on the outer edges and then lighter right in the middle, so that the fin looks like it's curved. At the moment I'm just adding in the purple shading into the scales. And now I'm creating that depth, so you can see that there is this light ridge forming. And of course the shadow occurs at the top of the fins as well. Now I'm using a cream colour to just blend even more the beak. And also the inside of that right hand fin. So I'm highlighting particular areas that I want it to blend with. So now this is the interesting part of the technique. So what I've got is some odourless solvent there, and I'm dipping my paper stump into that solvent, and now I'm able to blend those pencils very well. And so you see less of the pencil actual strokes, although I've used a very light pressure throughout that. And now I'm going to go over the entire piece and just blend every single scale together. I'm going to blend the fins together, all the wrinkles together, the beak, the eye, everything that's in that whole picture I'm blending together. So now I've finished my turtle, and I'm now going to incorporate it into a page. So I'm using some Liquitex teal. So I'm using Liquitex teal. I'm using a cobalt ultramarine blue. I'm using a violet purple. I'm using a phthalo turquoise and some white, and I'm adding some airbrush medium to them to make like a glaze, because I'm out of glazing medium at the moment. And then on the page I am going to mix them with matte medium so that they form like a glazy kind of, so you can see that my layers are becoming transparent. I like the idea of that, and so I wait for the bottom layer to dry, and then I'm adding in the next layers for that extra depth. And I'm using a very wide angle brush. Now I'm adding in some white parts for the light filtering in through the water from above. Now I'm darkening in the bottom of the page with the violet, and I love the way that it blends with the phthalos and the blues. And now I'm just rubbing off some areas, particularly where the light is, with a baby wipe. And I'm just now cleaning out my palette with the same baby wipe and just transferring all the paint onto a scratch piece of paper. Finally I get to cut out that beautiful turtle. And he's gorgeous, and see, it doesn't really matter so much if you coloured a little bit outside the lines. I'm using matte medium to collage him onto the page because he's on copy paper. And then I'm sealing the whole image in with matte medium over the top. And as I'm doing this and the paper slightly buckles, I fix it up with the brush. Now I'm using some neo colours in the same sort of shades, in the violet, the turquoise and the blue. And instead of water activating them, I'm just rubbing them in. Just because I just want that soft, gentle extension of colour and shadows. And now I'm using a lighter blue just to go around and seal the edges. I'm always someone that likes to frame my pages. So now I'm writing in my saying, and I found this on Brainy Quotes, and I absolutely adore it. Very important, I think, to usher in the new year 2015, being comfortable with yourself. And I'm using my purple pit brush marker. It goes really well over the non-porous surface of the matte medium. So now I'm going to go around all of those purple letters with a white Signo gel pen. This takes a little while, but it just defines those letters a little bit more. I love how the purples marry all the way through every single layer of this particular page. You could also outline your words here with a black pen. It would be as striking. I just decided to do white because I wanted them to just blend in with the background a little bit more. And just at this point, I just want to give credit. This is actually a Spectrum Noir pencil digistamp, and it was on the DVD that I received as a bonus when I ordered my set of Spectrum Noir. Obviously the digistamp is the turtle on the tin of the marine set of the digistamps. And there wasn't actually a lesson on how to colour that turtle, so I'm very pleased with my first attempt at using my artist pencils in a very serious way. And I'm again sorry that the alcohol marker part didn't come out. But I used Copics and Fusions.